Part two of week three. Did it. Yeah. So we're just gonna do the Sunday night and the Monday night game, correct?
Yeah, yeah. The two showdown slates, the big showdown slates
Okay. And we
per
got
week.
some fresh pricing that has just came out. We'll do Sunday night. So Green Bay at New Orleans, shaping up to be a big one. I expected both of them to be 2-0 going in, not New Orleans losing one. But yeah, you want to start it off with what we all have lined up for your showdown?
Well, the interesting take on this whole game is actually that we may not see Devonte Adams. Early news this week is that he's not playing, and it's pretty likely he's not playing. And Michael Thomas will not be playing as well as from the early sounds of it. So I mean, there's two obvious captains in this game, and I think they're going to be garnering 30% ownership on DraftKings. But like Aaron Jones after last week is his splits without Devonte Adams in the lineup are crazy. He averages like 3 times the DK points when Devonte Adams isn't playing, and he sees the bulk of the work in Green Bay
Monstrous
when
salary
Adams.
though.
Is he? What do they
Seventeen
have him?
thousand one hundred for Jones as a captain. 17,700 for Kamara. So
Yeah, and those are
they're
the two. Those are
they're
my
eating up
two favorite
almost
plays.
40% of your salary right there. Maybe
And I
30%.
don't, I don't expect you can avoid either of them. I mean, this game. If you watch the game Monday night, Kamara was huge volume of the workload and by far the best looking player on the Saints, and the Aaron Jones is clearly the number one guy there. So I think, I mean, they're going to be chalky, but I just think you have to have them in every lineup. I don't think you can fade them, even if they're not your captain. Just have them in the lineup. For me, it's going to be 100% those two. I only play 3 lineups on the showdown slates. So I'm going 100% those two, and I'm guessing one of them will be captain in one of the 3 lineups each. And then I'll probably do my third captain, I think, will be Traquan Smith. I expect the run game for Green Bay to be better, but Traquan Smith got a bulk of the workload for New Orleans in the receiving game with Michael Thomas out, and he's like kind of the only receiver. Emmanuel Sanders looks horrible, so that's where I'd lean there. What about you? Do you have a lean at captain?
I was just kind of looking at, like, now that the pricing's out, some like good options at cheaper captains. Valdez Scantling is quite far down the list here. Comes in at still 10,200, but averaging the past 2 games 14.5 fantasy points. That's looking like a decent pick. Same with Lazard, both wide receivers. If you think Green Bay is going to be throwing the ball lots, I haven't really dove into the flex here. Now this is all kind of throwing me off a little bit, but I think the interesting pick is still throwing in the. What are you thinking on defense for this game? Taking any defense special teams or?
I actually like both defenses. Like, I think there's a good chance that playing the defenses and the kickers with the 2 running backs might be a good play, and it hasn't happened on any of the showdowns, and particularly tonight's game that's on. We're recording this right during the Dolphins game, and there's just offense. That's all that game seems to be doing, and but yeah, I like both defenses, both kickers. I think you could use. I like Valdez Scantling and Lazard. I actually kind of prefer Lazard. I was gonna say because Lattimore is gonna get probably run with Scantling, because if with no Adams to sit there, Lattimore covers one of the guys on the outside. One of the cheaper guys I like too is Robert Tonyan. He seems to pick up. He's a tight end, and he's usually really cheap.
2,200 bucks on flex.
And he's playing the most of the tight ends in that group, and he seems to always go for a couple catches or at least targets a game. So he's a good cheap option to kind of fill a lineup. And then I don't like Aaron Rodgers. That's one of the guys I don't like in this game. And most people, like, most lineups are going to have quarterbacks, and it's typically 60 to 80% ownership. But I think this just leans Aaron Jones again, and having Aaron Rodgers might kind of cap you with pricing. But yeah, I don't like either of the New Orleans options, either Sanders or Cook. Those are I
Well,
don't
I'll
know.
let you
Those are
know
kind of
right
guys
now,
I'm
if you
fading.
go Kamara or Jones as captain, and you take both of them, either or, and then you take both kickers and both defense, you got yourself a lineup.
Yeah, I might have to throw that one in. That sounds like a good
With
lineup.
5,500 bucks to spare.
Yeah, I usually don't like playing both and both. If I had to lean in this game, I'd probably actually lean Green Bay's defense. They've looked quite good. so far, and they've put up, I think, 15 DK points in both games. If I'm thinking correctly, I might be in the wrong game. That might be the Ravens D that I have for the second game, but they have looked better than the Saints defense, who gave up a lot to the Vegas team there. So I don't know. I kind of like this game to be kind of lower scoring, one of the first ones to be lower scoring, but I think you lock in Kamara and Jones and kind of work around them however you fill it from there.
For all your lineups then?
Yeah, all three. I'll include both guys. They're just point hogs on those teams. Like, even in a bad game, they're probably going to see a good bulk of the workload for each of those teams. I just don't see it going a different route. Both
Good
passing game running backs, too. They both come in the passing game, and so, yeah.
Okay, cool. Moving on to the big old Monday nighter, the battle of the MVPs.
Game of the week, the NFL's game of the week.
I can't find. Sorry, I'm trying to find it on DK here.
I don't know if they released. This was the one. I don't know if they released the pricing yet. This one just, God, this is a tough game.
Yes, they. Ooh, no, they don't. I don't think they did.
Yeah, but this game's tough because you got Baltimore's defense playing phenomenal right now. You got the Chiefs kind of looking iffy. You got a 3.5. I think the point spread is actually that the Kansas City Chiefs are 3.5 point dogs in this matchup. And if you looked at, so Baltimore won last week against your Texans 33-16. And if you look at the DK box for the Baltimore Ravens, nobody put up more than 17 points. Like, it was the lowest DK scoring. So this just tells you that you might actually, even in a losing game, want more Chiefs. Like, even if Baltimore wins, you might want more Chiefs because they'll put up more DK value. Because Baltimore just tends to bleed the clock and run the ball with one of 4 running backs. Lamar's always in play because he has rushing upside of 50 points, but, like, there's no one, I mean, play Marquise Brown or Andrews, but Andrews got one touch last week. So I would actually lean to go heavier on Kansas City, even though I think they might lose this game.
Are you all in on?
Point.
Are you all in on Edwards-Helaire?
I am now. After week 1, I liked him, and I wasn't sure because he's known to be more of a passing back coming out of college. And then last week he got 8 targets and 6 receptions, I believe. So now it's like he's basically their go-to back. Darrell Williams is also questionable coming into the week, so he could be really their only back, and he's getting upwards of high 20s in targets or touches for the game. So my captain choices were between Kelsey and him this week if I went on the Kansas City side, and then probably only Lamar on the other side. I just don't, the volume for those receivers there is just so low.
Somehow, week over week, I've always found myself drafting Demarcus Robinson because he's always been very cheap, and he doesn't do very much. Like, he's not been getting much action. But I find the game he does, every 5 or 6, he gets like 40 fantasy points because he gets about 3 bombs.
Yeah, and in week 1, was it week 1 or 2, he caught that 44-yard touchdown that got called back on a penalty. So he would have broke that game wide open. But this game I like. Speaking of kickers again, both these kickers are awesome kickers. Like, they'll kick. Butker was kicking 50. I think he kicked 2 or 3 50-yarders last week, and Tucker can kick 60-yard field goals, which means if they land any of those, you're getting 5 points a kick. So a lot of upside to play kickers in this one, especially those two. They're both, like, if you're playing cash games, which I don't really play, I play mostly tournament stuff. I mean, play both kickers. And maybe Baltimore's D. I wouldn't play Kansas City's defense in this matchup, but one guy to watch, or kind of a cheap guy, is Hardman. Might get more action if Watkins is out, and it's sounding like he's in concussion protocol, which means he could be out. And then on the other side, Boykin and Snead. Game 1, Snead was the second best receiver on that team, and week 2, Boykin was the best receiver, I think, DK value. So they're usually cheap. And I mean, if you don't like Marquise Brown or Mark Andrews, then go that way.
It's a cheap way to get them in the lineup with Lamar, and then you don't have to pay up for what I expect to be the two highest guys on Baltimore, which will be Brown and Andrews. So you can also avoid them if you want.
Are you totally fading the running backs on Baltimore, Ingram and what's the other guy's name? Hill?
I I might play who's the rookie there? J.K. Dobbins. I might fit him into one lineup. He had 3 carries for 61 yards, which is amazing efficiency, but they don't seem to play him much. And like Ingram rushed one long TD last week, or else he would have been not that great. So I mean, I like going J.K. Dobbins, and he'll probably be cheaper than Ingram, but he'll still be priced probably in that 3 to 5K range would be my guess. And that would be the guy I'd go to. Maybe even do I mean, Kelsey's the clear cut best play in this game, I think, from that side of the ball, Mahomes and Kelsey, because Baltimore just tends to get gashed in the middle. They're one weak spot on the D, and Kelsey's been their best, highest targeted guy through 2 weeks, and I mean, he's always good. So.
Okay, well, maybe what we'll do going forward is maybe we should put some, I don't know, however many lineups you put in, 2 or 3, and put the results up for the next week's one and kind of see where you went, what you did, and I'll probably do one for each game, and then we'll see how they landed here, and then we can recap how they go over. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and kind of because maybe we can touch on that on the going forward on the next Monday nighter one, not the next slate one, but the next time we do the double showdown. That might be a good little thing to add in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Sweet. Well, this one we're going to try to keep shorter, I think. We'll keep the long one for the major Sunday slate there. And then, the last video is doing numbers right now. We're not even up to Sunday yet, and we've got 9 likes, I think, on this one and 45 views. We've doubled everything compared to the first week's one. Give us that monetization.
Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Well, yeah, toss us a like down there, and maybe comment if you like a certain player that maybe we didn't talk about.
Yeah, or put your lineup or say something. Let us know you're there.